My name is Katie Palos.
And my name is Nicole Bergfield.
And this is Starbucks News. Here at Starbucks in Auburn, Massachusetts, we have overheard a high school student, Susan, telling her very close friend Steve about her research project. Please welcome Susan, everybody.
We were shocked to hear what you were talking about. Susan, what did you find out as you were doing your project?
I have found that plastic that we use in our daily lives can be harmful towards us.
How can something like plastic be harmful towards our health?
Yeah, I drink out of plastic containers all the time and I seem to be perfectly healthy.
There's a chemical called BPA that makes up polycarbonate and polysulfone, which are two common plastics. This chemical can actually come out of the plastic into the water or whatever you're drinking.
So this BPA stuff can get inside of us and hurt us?
Yeah, experiments have shown that BPA can come out of plastics and into whatever is in the container.
Tell us about one of the experiments. What did they do to figure out if the BPA could actually come out of plastic and into what we drink?
Scientists use glass dishes and polypropylene cages as controls because they don't have BPA. They use polycarbonate and polysulfone cages to test if the BPA actually came out of them into the water. After rinsing new and used cages, they put water into each of them and let it sit for a week. After that, they measured the amount of BPA found in each type of cage.
And what did they find?
The glass and polypropylene cages did not leach any BPA, but the polycarbonate and polysulfone cages did. The used polycarbonate cage leached even more because it was worn out and had been damaged more during its use.
So there really is proof that this dangerous chemical could be in the water I drink every day? Why is it so dangerous anyways?
Well, there is a chance that BPA can cause breast cancer.
Why do you say that? Is there any proof that it can cause breast cancer?
Yes, there is data that supports this. Scientists wanted to see if BPA acts like estrogen, which causes breast cancer cells to divide. They added estrogen or water from the cages in the previous experiment to human breast cancer cells.
What were the results in this experiment? Did the BPA actually act like estrogen and make the breast cancer cells divide?
They found that the used polycarbonate cages, which leached a lot of BPA, acted just like estrogen did.
What do you mean by that?
Both estrogen and water from used polycarbonate cages increased the amount of DNA in the cells or made the breast cancer cells divide.
Is this really proof that BPA can cause breast cancer?
No, there needs to be more testing to be done in order to be sure. Mice that drink from plastic dishes and mice that drink from glass dishes didn't have a large difference in uterine weight, so there is a chance that it has no effect on breast cancer cells. However, this may not be a good measure of estrogenic activity.
It's pretty scary to think about getting breast cancer from drinking out of plastic water bottles. Is there anything else I should know about this chemical?
Well, it can harm animals that are kept in water in plastic cages. For example, guppies exposed to DNA had about 50% less sperm than guppies that weren't exposed to it.
What about humans? Is there anything else it can do to us?
Actually, scientists have looked at the effects of BPA on obesity.
Are you saying BPA might actually cause people to be obese?
Well, like I was saying before, BPA acts similarly to estrogen. Estrogen actually has an effect on lipid metabolism, which may be why women gain weight easier than men.
So BPA can have an effect on lipid metabolism also?
Yes, scientists studied whether BPA could change 3T3 fibroblasts into adipocytes like estrogen does. They could tell if BPA was changing the fibroblasts into adipocytes, which is a fancy word for fat cells, based on the levels of lipoprotein lipase and triacylglycerol. When 3T3 fibroblasts are changed into fat cells, lipoprotein lipase activity increases and triacylglycerol levels decrease.
Could BPA change 3T3 fibroblasts and adipocytes?
Yes, in an experiment performed with rats, they found that DNA treated with BPA had less triacylglycerol and more lipoprotein lipase activity than DNA without BPA, which is what happens when the fibroblasts change into adipocytes.
So how does that make us fat?
Well, those results mean there are more adipocytes or fat cells in the DNA with BPA.
That's pretty scary to think about. Is there anything else about BPA that will harm me?
That's all I've found so far. Hopefully there's nothing else.
Good, this is too much for me to handle in one day.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Susan.
You're welcome. I'm happy to share what I found. I think everybody should know how plastic in their daily lives can affect them.
Well, Susan, you're very right about that. I'm glad that I know that it can cause breast cancer, obesity, and even prevent my pet fish from reproducing.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you learned a lot. Be sure to tune in on Starbucks News at 5